For over a decade, the Duggar family sold America a very specific story. 19 kids, one massive house in rural Arkansas, an unshakable faith, and the promise that if you followed the rules, their rules, your family would be protected from everything the outside world could throw at it. That story started cracking in 2015 when the eldest son, Josh, was exposed for molesting his own sisters as a teenager. It shattered completely in 2021 when Josh was convicted on federal child pornography charges and sentenced to over 12 years in prison. But the family survived. They always survived. Because the narrative was simple, Josh was the bad apple, the black sheep, the one who strayed. And then, on March 18, 2026, a second Duggar son was arrested. Not Josh, Joseph, the quiet one, the obedient one. The son who never made headlines, never sought the spotlight, and never gave anyone a reason to look twice. He's now facing a life felony in the state of Florida. His wife has been arrested on separate charges in Arkansas, and what investigators found inside their home may be the most disturbing detail of all. This is the story that finally and permanently destroyed the Duggar family myth. Who is Joseph Duggar? Joseph Garrett Duggar is 31 years old. He's the seventh child and third son of Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar. He married Kendra Caldwell in 2017. They have 4 children together. If you watched the shows, you probably don't remember much about Joseph. That was kind of the point. While Josh was the political operative in Washington, Joseph stayed home. He stayed quiet. He stayed close to the compound in Tontitown, Arkansas, and presented the image of a simple, devout family man living exactly the life his parents prescribed. He was supposed to be the proof that the system worked, the son who followed every rule and turned out fine. He didn't. The arrest, March 18, 2026. On Wednesday, March 18, 2026, at approximately 3 p.m., Joseph Duggar was taken into custody at his home in Tontitown, Arkansas. But this wasn't a local arrest for a local crime. Tontitown police were executing an out-of-state warrant issued by the Bay County Sheriff's Office in Panama City, Florida. He was booked into the Washington County Detention Center and held in solitary confinement as a fugitive. Within days, he appeared before a Washington County judge, waived his right to fight extradition, and consented to immediate transfer to Florida. Once he arrived at the Bay County Jail, the sealed charges became public, and they were devastating. 2 felony counts: lewd and lascivious molestation of a victim less than 12 years old, and lewd and lascivious behavior conducted by a person 18 years or older. Under Florida law, because the victim was under 12 and the accused was an adult, this isn't just a felony, it's classified as a life felony. The maximum sentence is life in prison. What allegedly happened? Panama City Beach, 2020. According to the Bay County Sheriff's Office arrest affidavit, the alleged crimes took place during a Duggar family vacation to Panama City Beach, Florida in 2020. The extended family was staying at a rental property on Danny Drive. The victim was 9 years old at the time. During a structured forensic interview conducted in March 2026, the now 14-year-old victim disclosed what had happened. She told investigators that Joseph Duggar repeatedly asked her to sit on his lap during the vacation. The affidavit describes a specific escalating pattern. Duggar allegedly asked the girl to sit next to him on a couch, covered them both with a blanket, and proceeded to touch her inappropriately beneath that blanket. The court documents state that the contact continued across several separate occasions during the trip. According to the victim, the abuse only stopped when Duggar apologized to her before the vacation ended. She was 9. She carried this for nearly 6 years before telling anyone. The monitored confession. Here's where the case becomes almost impossible to defend. After the victim's forensic interview, her father decided to confront Joseph Duggar directly. On March 17, 2026, one day before the arrest, he called Duggar to confront him about the allegations. But this wasn't a private conversation. Investigators from the Tontitown Police Department had instructed the father to make what's called a pretextual phone call. A detective was actively listening on the line the entire time. During that call, Joseph Duggar allegedly admitted to the actions described by the victim. He confessed, not just to the father, but to a police detective monitoring every word in real time. The next morning, Tontitown police contacted the Bay County Sheriff's Office in Florida, transferred the forensic interview data, the confession evidence, and all supporting intelligence. Bay County deputies secured an arrest warrant. By 3 p.m. that afternoon, Joseph Duggar was in handcuffs. From disclosure to arrest, less than 48 hours. The bail hearing and legal status. Joseph Duggar made his first court appearance remotely from the Bay County Jail on March 31st. The presiding judge, Brantley S. Clark Jr., set bond at $600,000. But the bond came with conditions that tell you exactly how seriously the court is taking this. Duggar is legally barred from having any unsupervised contact with any person under 18. That includes his own 4 children. He posted the $600,000 bond that same afternoon and flew back to Arkansas to await trial. Through his attorney, Albert Saulene, he entered a written plea of not guilty, waived his formal arraignment, and requested a jury trial. His next court date in Florida is May 18, 2026. Saulene told the press that his primary goal is to ensure Joseph is treated fairly, especially because of his celebrity status. Legal analysts have a different read. With a recorded confession in the prosecution's hands, most believe a plea deal is the only realistic path to avoid a life sentence. The second arrest, Kendra Duggar and the outside locks. 2 days after Joseph's arrest, the story got worse. On March 20th, Kendra Duggar, Joseph's 27-year-old wife, was arrested by the Washington County Sheriff's Office. She was booked at 4:56 p.m. and released on a $1,470 bond just over an hour later. Both Joseph and Kendra were then charged by the Tontitown Police Department with a combined 8 misdemeanor counts. 4 counts of endangering the welfare of a minor in the second degree. 4 counts of false imprisonment in the second degree. 1 count of each for every child in the home. And here's why. When authorities conducted a home inspection of the Duggar residence, likely triggered as a welfare check after Joseph's arrest for child sexual abuse, they found something deeply disturbing. Physical locks had been installed on the outside of doors within the home, not the inside, the outside. Locks designed not to keep people out, but to keep people in, presumably the children's rooms. Police confirmed that the Arkansas charges are totally unrelated to the Florida molestation case, and that Kendra is not accused of participating in the alleged sexual abuse. But the discovery of mechanisms designed to physically trap children inside rooms led directly to the endangerment and false imprisonment charges for both parents. They're scheduled to appear in an Arkansas courtroom on April 29th. The family fracture, 3 factions. For years, the Duggar family operated under one rule when scandal hit. Jim Bob controls the message. Everyone stays quiet. Everyone stays united. Nobody speaks without permission. That system is now completely and permanently broken. Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar waited nearly 2 weeks before saying anything. When they finally spoke through a family spokesperson on March 30th, the statement was clinical and carefully sanitized. They said they're focused on helping Kendra and her children. They're praying for the victim. They asked for privacy. They did not directly condemn Joseph or the alleged acts. The language was passive, managed, and clearly designed by a PR team. Compare that to what the siblings did. Jill Duggar Dillard, who sued her own father years ago and has been publicly dismantling the family's mythology ever since, put out a statement on her blog the day after the arrest. She revealed something stunning. She and her husband found out about the arrest from a friend's text message, not from their parents, not from a family phone call, from the news. She said they were shocked, heartbroken, and that they strongly condemn abuse and support the rule of law. Joyanna, a sister who had historically stayed loyal to the family image, posted on Instagram that what came out about her brother was heartbreaking and deeply disturbing. She said she'd been a wreck all week. Jason Duggar was furious. He and his wife said they were angered by what happened and prayed that the court system would serve justice as deserved. Jana Duggar Wisman confirmed on April 3rd that the entire family was blindsided. She said they had no prior knowledge before it went public. Her message was direct. This is a grievous and unacceptable wrong. And then there's cousin Amy Duggar King, who has been a vocal critic of the family's fundamentalism for years. She said she was sickened, heartbroken, and deeply angry. She publicly blamed the abuse on what she called a toxic family cycle. None of these people cleared their statements through Jim Bob. None of them waited for permission, and none of them protected Joseph. The convicted brother speaks, and because this story couldn't get any more surreal, Josh Duggar weighed in. Josh, who is currently sitting in a federal prison cell in Segoville, Texas, serving a 12-and-a-half-year sentence for possessing child sexual abuse material, released a statement through his lawyer to the Daily Mail. He said he was deeply saddened and that he understands the painful reality of being falsely accused of a crime. Falsely accused. That's the language a man convicted by a unanimous federal jury chose to use when his brother was arrested with a recorded confession. The statement was universally criticized, and it underscored something the public has been saying for years: accountability is not a concept this family understands. The legal road ahead. Joseph Duggar is now fighting a legal war on two fronts in two different states. In Florida, he's charged under Statute 800.04, lewd or lascivious offenses against persons under 16. Because the victim was under 12, this is automatically classified as a life felony. Maximum penalty: life in a Florida state prison, mandatory lifetime sex offender registration, and a minimum mandatory sentence of 25 years if convicted. Legal analysts consider the prosecution's case exceptionally strong because of that monitored phone call. A voluntary confession captured by law enforcement in real time eliminates the biggest hurdle in historical abuse cases, proving what happened when nobody else was in the room. The evidence is on tape. In Arkansas, both Joseph and Kendra face 8 Class A misdemeanor counts related to the outside door locks. Each count carries up to 1 year in jail and a $2,500 fine. If sentenced consecutively, which is rare for misdemeanors, the theoretical maximum would be 8 years and $20,000 for each parent. No civil lawsuit has been filed yet, but in cases like this, civil action typically follows criminal proceedings. The Duggar family is no stranger to courtrooms. And this time, there's no TV network left to cushion the fall. The pattern, from black sheep to systemic failure. This is the part that matters most. When Josh Duggar was exposed in 2015, the family had an answer. He was the exception, the one who fell, the prodigal son who strayed from the path. When Josh was arrested on federal charges in 2021, the answer was the same: one bad apple. But now, it's not one son, it's 2. And the charges don't just involve sexual abuse, they involve physical imprisonment of children in their own home. The 2023 Amazon docuseries Shiny Happy People already pulled back the curtain on the Institute in Basic Life Principles, the religious organization that shaped every aspect of how the Duggar children were raised. It exposed how IBLP theology demands absolute female submission, discourages reporting abuse to secular authorities, and places unquestioned authority in the hands of the patriarch. Commentators are now connecting Joseph's alleged behavior and the terrifying discovery of those outside door locks directly to these teachings. This isn't about one person anymore. It's about a system, a culture, a closed world where children are taught that obedience is survival and questioning authority is sin. The Duggar family legacy is no longer defined by television ratings. It's defined by court dockets. 2 sons facing the criminal justice system for alleged crimes against children. A daughter cited for child endangerment. A daughter-in-law arrested for false imprisonment of her own kids. The system didn't protect anyone. It never did.